Hi everyone, it's Brittany, and as you can probably tell from the title of this video, I decided to make a book review about Six of Crows. Just saying, the first half of this video is spoiler free, the second half will have a few spoilers. So, without further ado, here's Six of Crows. So, I was not a huge fan of the Grisha trilogy. I'd heard so many people love this book, but I was just kind of like, maybe they all really loved Grisha too, and maybe I'll just be like, eh. But no, I loved this book. It immediately got on my top favorites list, and so I just love this book so much. I love the characters, I love the setting, I love the interactions between the characters, and just the whole dynamic of the book was so much different than Grisha, and it actually reminded me a lot of Heroes of Olympus and the Lunar Chronicles, in the sense of that there is this team of basically teenagers who have one goal, and they are freaking hilarious, and there is so much humor going on. There's so much sass, and it's just it's just really funny, and I can't. It was great. It was a great book. So first off, you do not need to read the Grisha trilogy to enjoy this book. Yes, there are a few moments where there are a few comments that would make much more sense if you had read the Grisha trilogy, but it's not a necessity for this book to have read that series. I'm so glad there's going to be a book 2. I don't think I could have survived reading this right when it first came out, because I don't think I could have waited a full year for book 2. Right, even now I have to wait like 4 months, and I'm already dying. I'm going through withdrawals. I can't do it. I can't. I loved the characters in this book. They are so well-rounded and so diverse. They each have their own unique personalities. We have this funny one, we have the strong, mysterious, tough guy, we have the confident leader who everyone is slightly afraid of, and it's just, we have all these different characters, and you would think that they would clash, and they do a little, but for the most part they are perfect together. They have this sort of, they are a family. Well, not at the beginning, but by the end of the book they become a family. They become a singular unit, but as a group they become closer. They learn to deal with things together that they never could have handled on their own, and I love that so much, and I love them. They're all my babies. I can't. Nope. So this concludes the non-spoilery section of this book review, and now we have a few spoilers, and by a few I mean a lot. So if you haven't read this book and you plan to, just go and leave right now, because I don't want to spoil you. I don't want to be that person. And if you have read it, stick around, because we're gonna have some fun. Okay, so first off, to start this section off, I want to talk about the characters. Like I said before, I love these characters so much. They're what make this book so unique. Kaz is my baby. He is my favorite character. I just can't. He's my favorite. So he has this persona about him that he's like this tough guy, but really the only time we saw that guy is after Inej was stabbed. The fact that Kaz has PTSD really builds to his character. It gives him a deeper meaning, and it shows why he's the guy he is. Kaz had to become the person he was because of the way so that he can get his revenge on Pekka Rollins. He didn't want his brother to die for nothing. He needed to survive. He needed to get revenge, and up until this book, that's the only thing he really cared about. But so he has this struggle against PTSD is a real one, and I'm so glad that it's being approached and shown so prominently in a book as popular as this. And it makes me really excited that our society is finally getting to the point where we can talk about mental illness without it being shamed. So I'm excited about that. Okay, Inej. So Kaz is the leader, but he relies so heavily on Inej, and I just love their dynamic. And I'm just like, they're partners in crime. You can't have one without the other, because they play off of each other so well. They trust each other more than anything, and that just goes to show that even though Kaz can't trust anyone else, he can at least trust her, and that's the only thing that he has going for him. And so she's basically his conscience, and I really like that. In the scene with in the eyeball scene, Kaz says, in the eyeball scene, Kaz says, my wraith would counsel mercy, but thanks to you, she's not here to plead your case. I love the fact that she and Kaz have this repertoire where she can be like, okay, just check yourself before you wreck yourself, bro. Just stop. Okay, so when they're in the ice court, and Helene, it showed a lot about Inej as a person, that she didn't kill Helene, that she didn't take her life, because Helene bought Inej. She bought her, she forced her to be a sex slave, and then she sold her to the dregs. And I don't think that anyone else, if it was anyone else, I think that they would have killed her, like, without a doubt. I think they would have just taken her down, and yeah, it's just, It says a lot about her as a person. And also the fact that she, every time she takes a life, she prays for them. And just, she puts such a value on faith. And I just love the fact that she has all these Suli proverbs and all these, like, sayings that she's always telling Kaz and the whole team. And it's just, they're so great. So I keep saying Jasper. If I say Jasper, I apologize. It's just because my favorite character on the 100 is Jasper. So it's hard for me to differentiate between Jesper and Jasper. I feel like Lee Bardugo put him in the group as the comic relief, because he is definitely the one who's constantly making jokes. He's the one who's constantly keeping smiles on everyone's faces. I think that's his purpose, is to keep the morale up, to keep these people together, because I don't think that without him, I think without him, I don't think they could have worked as well as they did. It's like, even if he sometimes does feel one-dimensional, he's just too perfect to not love. So now, Nina. Gotta love Nina. Beautiful, beautiful Nina. I love the fact that it's canon that she is slightly chubby, and I love that. I love that she is overweight, and yet she's still considered one of the most beautiful women. It's just so straight. Like, it's a great feeling that this is happening in this book, and that breaking down the walls of beauty, like the standards of beauty. Love it. The thing I love most about Matthias is that he is struggling to overcome prejudice that have been built into him, that have been instilled in him since birth. He was born to believe that Grisha should all be exterminated. And the fact that he fell in love with a Grisha, what? His whole life is falling apart, and he has to somehow he's keeping it together. I'm surprised that he kept it together so well. I would not. I don't think I could have kept it together that well. And last but not least, Wylan. Oh, baby Wylan. He's so young. He's only like a year young. Even though he's only like a year younger than majority of the people, he just seems so young, so much younger because he's a runaway, right? And so he just has this sense of innocence about him. And you just feel, you feel bad for the kid. And I'm like, yeah, he can make these awesome bombs. And the thing about him is that he is constantly trying to prove himself. He's trying to prove that he's good enough. He's trying to prove to the team that he's worth it. And I think he's mostly trying to prove it to himself, because the rest of the team, I think, already trusts him. They already think he's a valuable member. And I think he just is trying to prove to himself that he's good enough. That even though he can't read, he can still be useful. And the fact that his father basically kicked him out, even though he ran away, his father basically kicked him out. And he just needed some sense of reassurance that, yeah, he is good enough. So right after they got Matthias out of Hellgate, we had our 5 members of the team. We didn't know that Wylan was coming yet. So I was worried that there was gonna be another female. I don't know why. I don't know why I was super worried, because I didn't want it. I hated it. The thing I hated the most about Heroes of Olympus is that everyone was in a couple. I hated that there was no one who was just, there. And so I was just like, okay, so I'm okay if we have 2 couples on the group and then 2 guys. Yeah, it works. But then Wylan and Jesper happened, and I was like, oh, predictions for book 2. Okay, so book 2 comes out, I think, September 22nd. Crooked Kingdom. I'm so excited. I need this book in my hands right now. If I had money, I would pre-order it, but I have no money. I have no money, guys. So Leigh Bardugo has already said that one of the members of the crew is going to die in book 2. And I'm like, no, my babies, they can't die. My poor babies. Yeah, I don't know who I think will die. I honestly don't. It could be any of them, honestly. Because, it could be Kaz, because he's so rash. And I think losing Inej might drive him to, it might push him over the edge. He might just do so many, whatever stupid things. And just to, get back at whoever at Van Eck for kidnapping Inej, and that could get him killed. Or could get Inej killed. We don't know. It could be Jesper, because he just likes to make stupid mistakes. I mean, seriously. That guy makes so many stupid mistakes. Could be Nina, because she might overdose on Parim. Or she might get killed by the Druskell? Whatever? The hunters. Them. And so it's just, there's so many things that could go wrong. It's gonna be rough, but I can't wait. So, tell me what you thought of 6 of Crows and what you think's gonna happen in Crooked Kingdom. And I will see you next time. Bye!